Hey, what's up guys, Joe here, and did you know that you can open up a small channel by using 3 earthquake spells on one side and a 4th on the opposite side, basically overlapping them. This is particularly useful for the queen charge technique if you're trying to go for dark elixir, since the archer queen, fixates on structures that she can access within her 5-tile radius. So this actually comes in pretty useful when you can actually direct her into the location that you want to go. So basically we're going to start over with a little bit of a basics on the earthquake spell itself, starting with the information menu on the spell. The bottom portion gives you a lot of information that might not be understood to the the newer player. The earthquake spells damage structures based on the maximum hit points. So for this spell here, it's a level 2 earthquake spell. It only has 17% damage, so you can only do 17% damage with one spell, and then repeated earthquakes deal decreased damage to the same buildings, and I'll get into that in a moment and show you a little bit example on that one. And then also no wall can withstand the might of the earthquake spell, so it tells you 4 earthquake spells will take out any level of wall, no matter the level of the earthquake spell. So we'll also get into that. So we're going to go ahead and get into the basics of the spell, starting with the levels. And level 1 earthquake spell is available at Town Hall 8. 14% damage is done to structures within its 16 tile circumference. And then also level 2 is available at Town Hall 8 with 17% damage done on structures there. The level 3 is unlocked at Town Hall 9 with 21% damage, and then also followed up with the max level at Town Hall 10. The level 4 does exactly 25% damage to structures within that radius. And like the information menu said, the spell does decrease over multiple spells. The first spell on this level will do 25%, and then the second spell will do a third of that, followed by the third spell will do a fifth of damage previous to that, and then the fourth will do a 7th of damage. Now pay attention to the damage bars above the structures as the earthquake spells hit the structures. So you are doing damage, but it's just not as much as damage as the first spell that was initially dropped. But this does not apply to walls. But before we get into that, let's not forget the technique to where we can use 2 lightning spells and an earthquake spell to do damage, take out the air defenses, and do damage around those structures as well. So as we move into walls, a level 1 earthquake spell will take out a level 11 wall, as we have in this case here, level 1 earthquakes versus the level 11 walls, and it takes it out no problem. Only 4 spells are required here. So back to that circumference that I was talking about earlier. The earthquake spell has exactly an 8-tile diameter across. So what I have here is 8 individual sections of wall running in 2 different directions, and if you could find that central point in between these 2 sections, you should be able to take out all 16 pieces of wall. As we drop the earthquake spells and get in on that centralized point, we are able to take down all 16 pieces of wall, and this gives us a general understanding of how wide the earthquake spell is. It is greater of a circumference than the jump spell. The best use for the earthquake spell is inside the base, opening up as many compartments as you possibly can. It's a waste of 4 spell slots by using it on the outer compartments when you have the wall breakers and the jump spell at your disposal. And in this case right here, Jarlan's basically used the earthquake spells to gain access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different compartments with his archer queen, and just the design of this base gave the earthquake spell its best use to open up the entire base to it, basically giving the archer queen freedom of maneuver. And then also on that trick that I showed you at the beginning of the video, where you can use 3 earthquake spells and a 4th overlapping on the opposite side, will open up a very small passage. And I explained the usage for that in the beginning. And also there's these bases that have compartments that are exactly 6 tiles across, 8 total if you count both sections of wall on both sides. There's a couple of things we're doing here. We're actually zooming in really close. We're going to start out with our earthquake drop to begin with. But first we're going to count across, looking at the elixir storage and the Barbarian King's altar, and we understand that there are 3 tiles on that elixir storage and 3 tiles on that altar, and then if you count both sections of wall on both sides, it'll be 8 total tiles. So in this case we'll use the wall sections to count the tiles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 would be that breaking point in between the elixir storage and the king's altar, and that's exactly where you would drop all 4 of your earthquake spells in the same exact spot. That's why we zoom in really close, and we do it before we actually get into the raid. That way you're not being rushed when you're trying to get your troops down and getting all fumbled up by doing that. So in this case here, we'll go ahead and drop all 4 earthquake spells in the same exact spot, and this grants us access to 3 different locations, and then I can comfortably move into the next portion of the raid. But in the opposite, you know, getting my troops down first and then trying to open up the compartment that I know I can open up with the earthquake spell, I may rush it and be off on my points, and I end up having a fail in this situation, which could cost me the use of spells that I don't want to use, or a spell that was intended for a different location, taking on an inferno tower and losing troops in the process. So it's just a method of how to address it. So hopefully you're able to get something out of this video on the earthquake spell, a little bit better understanding. If you're new to it, drop some comments below and let me know what you think, and thanks for watching, guys.